Welcome to Mommy Issues, a podcast where an ex-reality TV star mom
and her reality TV loving daughter
bridge the gap between their generations through celeb news, all things Bravo,
and their own personal mommy issues.
Hello. Wow.
I know. I'm like, it's crazy.
We got stuff to talk about.
We have stuff to talk about. Are we going to start with highlights and lowlights?
Yeah, let's listen, guys. We're going to do highlights and lowlights, and then we're just going to talk Miami today. Because I think if you're here, that's probably why you're here. But you're also here because you want to hear our highlights and lowlights.
That's right. And you love us.
And you love us.
They want to see your peonies.
They want to see my peonies that refuse to open, by the way. I've had these we're going on week 2 and they refuse to open. I put them outside for a day, nothing. They're just like, yeah, we're going to stay shut.
Okay, well, maybe that's a testament to you need to open up more.
I'm open plenty. Okay?
I know, we're too open.
Way too open. Okay. Highlights and lowlights. I'm going to go first because I think I have to go first. All right. I'm going to start with my lowlight because the lowlight is a shitty lowlight, but it's okay. We've gotten over it. But my holiday travel plans were ruined not once, but twice. So if you listen to the podcast, you know that we were invited by our friends to go to Sun Valley, Idaho for a ski trip for 5 days without Lola, which was going to be the first time we ever did that. You had planned on coming here for 5 days. We were getting this house ready to be like almost like Airbnb ready. I mean, we put photos of you and Ken all over the place. We put photos of Harry and we put Post-it notes everywhere. Like we were all so excited. You were excited to come here. We were excited. Yeah, it was really devastating. And then we got a call Wednesday night from our friends in Idaho who were there already saying, we have COVID, you guys can't come, which was devastating. But we were like, yeah, but we still have my mom coming here. We might as well go on a trip. Like we still have childcare. Let's just find another vacation. So me and John Liam talked and we were like, let's reenact the holiday. We go to your house in Miami. You come here. We each have a vacation.
Yeah.
And then we booked our tickets. We were like, yes, we adapt to change. It's going to be fine, whatever. And then you called the next day saying, I am so sick. I cannot travel. And we were like, cool, cool. Crazy. So travel plans were just kaputs. Yeah. I'm still trying to find the lesson here. Like I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe there's a lesson in everything. I have yet to find the lesson.
Tell me what the lesson is.
No, I'm telling you. I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. Here's what I know for sure. Had your original plans not changed, I would have gone no matter how sick I was, because it was a different thing. Number one, I could have had Lol and Kev help for like a day or two. Before I left, I did before I was supposed to leave, I went and I did an IV. I did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but what happened, what made me worse is that when you told me you were coming here, of course, my house wasn't really ready for you to come here because I was just going to leave everything. My housekeeper hadn't come, whatever. But I had to not like get it spotless, but, wash the sheets, do these things that I was going to do when I got back. And I think I just made myself worse to the point where I had to go to the doctor because I couldn't breathe. And she told me, if you get on an airplane with the way your inner ear is and everything, she goes, I don't know what's going to happen. She goes, people are dying from this thing. So she scared me so much. And it was like, I was just, whatever. I'm still not over it.
Yeah. Listen, it sucks. The holiday plans got ruined. It's fine. It sucks. But I guess the highlight is we had done, we were supposed to leave on Christmas. And so we had done the night before pretending like it was Christmas that morning on the 24th and like open presents and stuff. And then we actually got to spend Christmas with Lola and that was nice. And it was a really chill, slow, low-key day. It's like at the end of the day, it was nice to be able to spend Christmas with my daughter. That was the part that I felt really shitty about. So the high is that I got to do that. And tomorrow, me and John Liam are going to Ojai for a night. So we're still doing something, like getting away for.
Oh, good. Okay.
Even just one night, you know?
Right. Cool.
But yeah, pretty shitty.
Okay. Well,
what are your highlights and lowlights?
Well, you know, I have 0 highlights and all lowlights because my whole life was about going to be with Lola and everything. And it's just, I mean, I can't get over it. You know what I mean? It's like I see videos of her and I keep looking at videos and I'm like, I'm missing this, I'm missing that. I'm like, I just, you know, so those are I can't even think of a highlight, you know. I didn't die from this
you didn't die. That's a highlight.
And I'm still sick, as you can hear. I, you know, not like contagious sick or anything, but not feeling great. And I've never spent Christmas, like I spent New Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in bed.
Yeah.
You know, that's really crazy. I didn't see anybody. I still haven't seen anybody.
Well, you can't, you're sick.
No,
like,
I know.
The way it goes. I remember the year of my wedding, 2021. We got married on the 18th of December. And then it was like the height of Omicron. And I remember spending the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day on the couch. Like, first of all, so nauseous. And then it was pouring rain in LA. We couldn't see anybody. Everybody was scared of COVID. It was a pretty depressing time. Yeah. So I do feel for you in that way. Like that it's not fun to be alone on Christmas, even if it's just kind of like.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't alone. Obviously I was with Ken and that was nice. And, you know, there's something nice about it. I know that, but it's like, it's not even about you guys. I was supposed to be with Lola. And then I was like, I should have gone anyway. I should have whatever. And it's like, and die, you know what I mean? And as the days passed, I realized that it was the right decision because I was so sick. I would have made her sick.
No. It would have been horrible. We would have come back and Lola would have gotten whatever you got. And then we would have it would have just been a nightmare. So
no, I know.
It was everyone did the right thing. All the plans got canceled, not because of anything bad. It was just, it had to be done. So,
but okay. We have we need a redo.
We need a redo. We will have a redo.
And you know what? Probably not during Christmas, which is better because the stress of Christmas is unnecessary.
Yeah. It's also like, this is why we can't, like, no one should be relying on anybody for a vacation or a trip. And I think we were offered something so like easy and light and like not very expensive, not very far away. And it ended up working out for you. But at the end of the day, like we have to be in charge of our own destiny. That's the lesson that I'm taking from it. Where like, I can't just be like, yeah, we'll do whatever you want to do. Like we'll go to where you are and whatever.
Right.
Valley of it all. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into Miami.
Okay.
Let's do Miami stuff because I feel like that's really what we need to get into. I feel like it's going to be. I want to hear what you have to say. This is obviously more so about you than anything else. So I feel like you need to speak your piece first and foremost.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a lot of. I mean, I wasn't in the episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you were like the idea of you was very much present and was the episode. And I think that's the big, I've been sitting with this. I watched it last night. I've been sitting with this since last night, this morning, trying to be like, what even like, why did your name on a menu cause such a disturbance in this group? It wreaked havoc. And I'm like, why? I don't even know why. You know what I mean?
No one can clear a room like me.
I mean, clearly.
Apparently. I know where the bodies are buried.
But what bodies? Like,
the
what
bodies.
Do you know?
Oh my God.
What do you know?
I'm not going to say it right now because I think this is information that the time will come and we'll see how much but I've known these people for a long time. And you
how
know
long?
Me.
Let's just get a
20
little
years,
details
20 years.
Here. When did you first meet Alexia and Marisol? How like
Marisol later, Alexia like 25 years ago. We weren't friendly like, you know, we were afterwards, but known of her, known of, you know, during the cocaine cowboy year. Like, yes, I knew her and of her.
And then you became friends with Marisol later, like through Alexia or
through
separately?
The show, really. Through the show.
And then you became really close with Marisol.
Well, you remember she was at our house constantly. Had nothing to do with the show either. She was always there.
And then when things like happened on the show where like you felt like the Marisol thing where she told you that something was going to happen at the reunion and then you came guns a-blazing and then you looked like an asshole and she was like, whoops, not me. That's when things fell apart, or was there stuff before that? Was there
nothing
that?
before that. Yeah, there really wasn't anything before that. It was just like, you know, she needed me to be her mouthpiece, and I'm good at that.
You're not Alexia. Like that's what Alexia does for Marisol now.
Right. Except that she knew that, you know, I have a way of communicating that, you know, she felt very threatened by Leah for whatever reason. And it makes you wonder, when you're that worried about somebody, what did you do to them to cause that? You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at now, and just having spoken to Leah and spent time, you know, with Leah, just, I realized how much was fabricated. And so, yeah, I was played, and it was hurtful, and it was terrible. But you know, it's interesting to see, and it'll be more interesting to see next week. You know, there is a lot of footage. It was, what I will tell you, it was chaotic, much more than you've even seen. That whole brunch was chaotic.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? You're not even there yet, and there's chaos. They left.
Yeah, it was chaotic. And then I think that, you know, I never went there with the intention of exhuming the bodies that I know where they're buried. You know what I'm saying? That was not my intention. I went there because I wanted an opportunity to talk about what had happened, especially my situation with Leah, that is still such a big regret of mine. And just have an opportunity to say, you know, this is a forum in which I did this. And now this is the same forum where I would like to say, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have done that. I was played. I was whatever. Never did I expect that reaction. And so it was all taken, you know, a little bit, it took me by surprise. And we'll see what airs. There's just a lot of footage that they get a lot of footage, but they can't air all of it. So we'll see what happens. I thought, you know, this whole narrative of Alexia's finances was also interesting to me because, you know, I am not above discussing speculating about somebody's, you know, situation, because come on, you're on this show. You're nobody here's a saint. I'm not above that. I just, you know, this whole thing, I like Adriana, but I think the fact that she knows 5 languages gets her very confused. And the way that she remembers conversations are a little crazy. You know, this whole thing about taxes or not taxes.
I just don't even, rates? I don't know, but also who cares? Like, why are we even talking about this?
Well, I'll tell you why. I think that Alexia and Marisol have both been a little bit unfair to Adriana, and Adriana wants to find, you know how it is. You
dig
need
up
to
dirt.
You need to have dirt. You need to have a storyline. And this is what she chose. I don't believe that it's completely not true. I think there's something to it.
I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
I think what I'm saying is I'm sure there is something to it. My thing is like, I like you being used as a pawn in Adriana's game as like, oh, I know Anna knows stuff and she's going to say stuff. It's like, you didn't go there to do that.
No, I would never
you
go
were
there
invited to the Mother's Day brunch.
I discussed with her.
You know Nicole, you know Adriana, you know whatever. I think like people are assuming because you're being villainized, you are the villain right now in this. This is the biggest thing to happen this season on Miami is your presence alone. That's what it seems like. We're in episode 9 or 8 or something. We're mid-season and you are like, oh, now Miami is getting good because Anna's coming back. That's how it feels like to me from like an outsider's perspective, not involved. I'm involved, obviously. I just mean like, it's the biggest thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, yes, they're painting you as this thing. Yes, they're creating this storyline, but you, Anna Kinkosis, as like your own individual person, not even like a podcast host, we're like, yeah, I'm just going because I'm going, like, whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, it was really this opportunity because I really wanted to say that, but Nicole invited me. And you know, I have a separate relationship with Nicole. You know that I've gone to lunch with her and I don't discuss that because that's my private life. And yes, this connects us. You know, she was a newbie housewife. I had been on, I'm friends with Anthony, you know, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, she invited me, but I figured it would be like, oh, rolling of the eyes. I can't believe she's here, but not
this.
No,
this was so, first of all, while I was watching, my heart was beating out of my chest. Also, I did not know that they were going to use the clip of me saying the rotten corpse thing. Right. I mean, I knew they were going to, I didn't know it was going to be this episode. So I was caught by surprise and I was like, oh my God,
why was your heart beating? That's so weird.
I think my heart was beating because this podcast, and tell me if you feel the same way. This podcast feels separate enough where like, I think it's not like these women are tuning in. There are so many Bravo housewife podcasts, so many
recap show,
much bigger podcasts with much bigger names like Bitch Sesh with Casey. People listen to Bitch Sesh. I mean, not with the paywall, but they used to listen to Bitch Sesh, and they are saying the craziest shit about these women, about Beverly Hills women, Potomac women, Miami women. We're saying, I would say, a quarter of the shit that they're saying.
Right, but it comes
we're connected.
Right.
So it feels heavier. It feels bigger.
Yeah.
So I think my heart,
it is heavier.
And I think, and then there was also the feeling of like, oh, I'm watching this show. Now I'm involved. It doesn't feel like it's so separated. Now I'm literally on the television screen and they're talking about things that we have said on our podcast where I'm like, oh shit. I know we've talked about like Marisol has her little minions like listening, but I'm like, oh no, dude, she's really listening. Like,
no, she's listening. No,
I don't
it's
know
not
how
her minions. She's listening.
Yeah.
She's listening all the time.
And let me just be I know I've said this before, but now that it's already aired and like, hopefully people are like listening right now who have never seen us or heard us before. I never said I wanted Marisol dead. That has never left my fucking mouth. On the contrary, that's shit that she would probably say.
Well, and listen to her. She said it twice about Adriana.
She said it on Watch What Happens Live. She has no qualms about wishing people dead. Her fucking Santeria, this and that. I've never done that. I believe in that stuff. And I think that's horrible. What I said about her being a rotten corpse from the inside and out, I could say much worse things because she said something about my sister that was like unforgivable. And I don't take it back. I don't take it back.
No, of course not.
I am holding firm on what I said. Again, I don't think it's that big of a deal calling somebody a rotten corpse, bitch. She's been called worse. I'm sure.
Oh my God.
I'm sure. But it's so personal with you that anything we say, if we were like, oh, wow, ella fea, she'd be like, she said that I was so ugly.
I don't think so. She knows that.
I'm just saying, like, it just feels so much more weighted because it's you and I'm associated with you. You know what I mean? Like,
you're associated. You came out of this situation here.
I did. And so I don't know. I'm just like, I think I was just stressed out because I was like, oh, wow, there's no wall between this anymore. You know?
Right. Look, I think next week is going to be, obviously I haven't even appeared, and out of the chaos that happened and my recollection of everything that happened, we'll see what comes out. I will definitely share some things that didn't make it on.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's, I think that probably some of the juicy stuff, not the heavy stuff, not ready to divulge that yet. And we'll see.
Yeah.
This is a long road ahead. And, I just think it's a zero-sum game, this housewife situation, no matter what, everyone, including myself, will end up with egg on my face.
Of course. It's Housewives.
No matter what. It's Housewives. I have to listen to my friend Sylvia and whatever. I can't believe you went to that. Those women, they're all this and that, and you're never going back. And I was having lunch with her the other day, and people are like, "Are you going back to the show?" She goes, "Absolutely not. She is not going back to the show. I forbid it." So it's funny because, look, I don't know. I just felt at the time, why not? And I
also, let's be real. We have a podcast that we're trying to grow.
Right.
This is free advertisement. Let's not like pretend that this is not that either.
Exactly.
The amount of times that your name was said on that show, mispronounced 100 times, by the way. By the way, you were given my ex-boyfriend's last name, which was one of the worst things.
I know. A lot of people, but it's so funny. Like, you know how long I've known Adriana, but this is what I'm telling you. I don't think that she's malicious, even though she probably firmly believes we had that conversation. We had a conversation.
Adriana, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. And we did have conversations about borrowed jewelry and the apartment that wasn't hers and she was renting. And we had conversation about, I think we even had conversation about Bitcoin. But the way that, when it goes through her 5 languages, I feel that she loses something in the translation.
I think Adriana is also so like dead set on getting back at Marisol and Alexia that she's like pulling from everywhere. And you're like one of these pulls when it's like, but you're not aligned with that. Oh,
but
do you
what
see
happened there?
Oh no, a little thumbs up came up. You do it. Oh my God, what the heck?
Why don't I have thumbs?
I don't know. Because you're
right. I don't have opposable thumbs. I honestly, it's hard. There's a lot of things that I thought were super funny about the episode, like the fact that they went in there, they left, but they took their jackets.
They took the jackets. She goes, "Thank you for the jackets, but we're leaving." I was like, "Girl." And what's funny is that they come back. So to take the jacket and then
leave. I didn't even take my jacket. I don't have my jacket.
You should have gotten your jacket.
No, she has my jacket. She told me. I said, "Where's my fucking jacket?" I texted her yesterday. Okay, so and by the way, can you please give us a little bit of Alexia impression, because you were so funny with that, with the word she said over and over and over again to Nicole?
I don't even know what she said. I don't remember.
You're so pathetic.
You're so pathetic.
She's
so I've never seen her so like active and animated over something. It was so
went crazy.
She went nuts. They both went nuts. But like, I don't know. Listen, I am hoping that people are seeing I think it's a good thing that this is happening in the middle of the season, because I think right now the last couple episodes, we've seen the Marisol thing where you're like, we saw her on Watch What Happens Live lying through her teeth. If you couldn't see that, then you're a bad judge of character. I'm so sorry. But she's lying through her teeth. And then people are calling her out, being like, yeah, you hired a private investigator. And she's like,
and
what?
She did.
Estás loca.
Yeah, she did.
And it's like, no, you did. And you're lying through your teeth and we can tell. So I'm hoping that this whole thing of them blowing up and being like so upset by your presence is kind of getting people to be like, but wait a minute, why? What does Anna know? Or like, it's not just like, oh, Anna's a villain and she sucks. There's something else happening here that we've already have been seeing. So I'm hoping that people are like, at least that is it.
That is a great point. We've been seeing that. She absolutely, her obsession with this show, when you eat, sleep, and drink Housewives, it can become a very toxic thing. Like sometimes I will be looking at things on social media and you get sucked in. And before you know it, it's been an hour and it's like, okay, I just lost an hour of my life. I should have been invoicing, Walmart orders or whatever. Like there's other stuff I could have been doing. So I feel like next week will be the most telling thing. And I think I'm going to share more next week
depending on what they show.
Right. Because I don't want to steal the thunder from the show. I don't know what they're going to show. there are certain things that happened that if they don't show them, then of course I'll share them, not to negate the editing at all, just because some of this stuff didn't have
There's
time
context.
to get on.
There's context to
there
things.
is context.
I think the fear is that you look crazy or unhinged in a way because they're not showing the whole story. So it's like, tune in next week to fill in the gaps.
Right.
That's, again,
if
depending.
If they're filled.
Right. Depending
if they're filled. If not, I promise you, I will fill in the gaps. I will fill in the gaps. And I have this thing where I've become just the queen of receipts in a way where I record everything.
Oh.
So phone conversations that I've had.
Oh. What? Mommy.
Yeah.
That's wild. I don't know how I feel about that.
If I had a phone conversation with Marisol and she goes, "Why am I on speaker? Are you recording me?" I thought, she's probably recording me. I'm recording you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So stuff like that. And even when I was there, I was like, I'm just going to put this so I can remember stuff that I said, but you can't even tell half the stuff because that's how I know it was so chaotic.
So
you could not tell what was going on. I also thought that it was really, really, really bad form when Alexia told Nicole that her mother wasn't there because she's mean to her mother and all this stuff, when Alexia's family is untouchable. But like it's like a major double standard. I don't know if you saw that. They show a part where Nicole's mother says, "You're mean sometimes." She goes, "I'm not mean." She goes, "Your mother's not here because you're mean to her." That's why she said it. Her mother was never going to be there. Her mother was taking care of Grayson. Things like that.
Yeah, that's rude.
It's just really, really crazy and ugly. What did you think about Lisa and the car? The internet seems to be split on that because in a way it's mocking
people who drive cars. By the way, the amount of times that they're like shitting on Kias. I have a Kia, okay? And let me tell you, they're great cars. Great family car.
Yours is nice, yeah.
Super nice
car. Yours is like the big SUV. It's a nice car.
And by the way, not cheap. Not cheap. Not Rolls Royce, but not cheap, okay? No, I think Miami has a car culture that I'm sure you've seen this so many times. You will see a Ferrari or some sort of crazy car out front of a broken down house. Like it's crazy. People care so much more about how you look when you're like out and about driving a car. Oh, they must have a lot of money, but then they go home to their like double wide and it's like, but you have a Ferrari? What's going on?
Right. Or where people just live month to month in the sense that they have a big nut to crack every month, but it starts over the following month. It's not, they don't really own anything. And so, yeah, I do think that there's a possibility that Todd is a little bit big hat, no cattle,
What are you talking about? We're talking about Lisa, the car thing.
I understand, but I'm talking about in general. You don't know if Lisa, you know what I'm saying? Like Lisa has Birkin bags, but she doesn't have a car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing.
There's no the prioritizing like real life and like making sure you have a home that's stable for your kids and you and like having a car that runs and works so you can take them to school and this and that. That's not priority for Lisa. Priority is aesthetically, how does everything look?
Right.
I think Miami's just car culture, her taking the like Honda.
I just thought
what
it was
do you
rude.
expect?
Well, I thought it was rude the fact that Larsa said we could rob a bank because no one would ever know it was us.
But how is that rude? That's true. That's true. They all drive Rolls Royces. They all drive really nice cars. For them to be seen in a Honda is silly and funny. And I don't think it's a big deal. I think people like making a big deal about it.
No, I don't really think it's a big deal either.
Stupid.
I thought the scene was super funny.
You know what was crazy? Lisa setting reminders to call and check on her boyfriend and then calling him and being like, I have reminders set to check on you. And I would be like, lose my number then.
But it's not only that. I think she missed what he meant by check in with me. Doesn't mean call me for a wellness check. So it was really about let's talk about what's going on in our lives so that I'm not caught off guard with some of this stuff. But to her, it was just like, I'm checking in. How are you?
I think it's the fact that everything is revolving around her. and she thinks it's warranted because she's like, I'm going through a hard time. I'm going through a divorce. And it's like, yeah, but you also are in a relationship. So you have to be able to like talk to him about his life. And that's not happening. Lisa lives in her own world.
Yeah.
The editors putting together the side by side of, what's her boyfriend's name? Jody putting together this dinner, and then her taking a video of the food and then doing the same thing with Lenny. Because even the editors are like, you're not learning from your past mistakes. You're just going from one relationship to the other and you think it's going to work. Yeah. No.
I do.
And I don't mean to say heinous things about Lisa.
She got mad at me. She got mad at me at the brunch, and she goes, because you once said I was hooked on phonics. I'm like, this is why you're mad at me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is Housewives. And by the way, it's heinous, and you are
hooked on phonics, babe.
Right.
You can't even say, and by the way, make fun of yourself. Who cares?
Who cares? Well, this is the thing about Lisa. I'll tell you one thing about Lisa that I've noticed, and over time, I really think she's kind of honest.
I like Lisa. I think she's just a little self-absorbed, narcissistic, not learning from her mistakes, never looking back in the past, never looking to the future. She's currently in the moment, staying in the moment, and I think it does her a disservice. That's what I think is wrong with what Lisa's
know that
situation
unless you've, go back to my mother's old Indian prayer, don't criticize thy neighbor until you've walked 1,000 miles in his moccasins. The kind of divorces she's going through is all consuming.
Yeah.
I have friends that have gone through very, very bad divorces that today are emotionally unstable completely as a result, because it will do a number on you.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think that that's a huge piece of it.
And Lenny can be vindictive and vicious and awful. And I don't, I really feel bad for what she's going through. And I think that I would be talking about it 24/7 too, to be quite honest.
Talking about it with my friends for sure, 24/7. I think I've said this so many times, I sound like a broken record. I just think where she's going wrong is not having a place, an outlet that's separate from her relationship, that's separate from her kids. Like, can you stop doing FaceTime calls in front of your kids saying that your husband is trying to take them away? Don't you think that would be so traumatizing for a kid to hear?
Yeah.
I'm like, that was last episode. And I was like, this is where I like, don't feel for her at all. Where I'm like, you are so oblivious to what's going on when it's not, she can't see past herself. She can't even see her kids.
Yeah.
There, I said
she thinks everything's an extension of herself. And I get that, but
horrible. Sorry, but it's horrible.
Oops, wait,
it's not okay.
After talking to Jody and having an opportunity to chat with him, he is such a support, for her, that he really, his opinion on things are very wise, and I feel that he wants to be included in her decision making, and I don't think he has a problem being a sounding board. This has become a huge thing, but Jody has never said, hey, I don't want to hear about Lenny again.
He basically did at that dinner.
He did?
Yes, he said, I need you. He basically said, it can't just be all about you all the time. And I'm sure he's a really decent, nice guy, and that's how he's saying it. But eventually,
that's how you read it.
It's what Marisol said. People lose their patience. They do. Eventually, it goes away. Yeah. And you say, enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not the punching bag, especially when there's no action from her to make it better. You know what I mean? There's nothing that she's doing on her end to help to like not put so much on him. Nothing's happening. She's like, yeah, he's
stuff is reactive. Her stuff is reactive, and there's always emotion. There's always this, there's always that. They're both in the same kind of nightlife world, Miami Beach kind of scene. And so he's out with the model, and then
come closer to your mic.
He's out with the model, and she's out with Jody, and they meet at different places, and it's almost incestuous, and it's just, honestly, if I were her, I'd separate myself from the whole thing for a little while, kind of create her own family with this guy, and just deal with the Lenny thing when she can. But again, this is not what we're dealing with, so who knows? Who else can we talk about?
I just had a note on, you have been talking a lot about the Alexia Todd thing where like it seems like there's trouble in paradise. And because we haven't seen Todd that much on the show, it's hard to like get that. And this scene where she went to his office to talk about having to move from their apartment in 15 days, the way that Todd is looking at Alexia is like he's dead in the eyes. He's just like,
yeah.
He's
like
realizing,
Lenny, like a little bit like Lenny was last season or whatever
Lenny
season.
was like done. Todd is beginning to realize, uh-oh.
I think that Todd
I made a mistake.
Right. I do get that. Again, it is speculation. We all have a right to speculate.
Yes.
And that is what I'm gathering from it. Like I said, Todd is a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? You could tell he's trying to use this platform that he has to build. He's almost like a baby Grant Cardone. You don't know who he is, but another real estate guy that doesn't believe in buying stuff. And he's trying to mentor and he's trying to do all those things, and that's great. But he also has 2 daughters, college-bound daughters, really well-adjusted, whatever. And he married this situation that is with 2 kids that are going to be a lifetime of, there's never going to be independence. There's never going to be independence. And that wasn't his life. And so I think at some point he thought, this is great. I love her. She's great, whatever. And then the show came and it changed things. And now he's like, what the fuck have I done?
As it does.
That's what, again, total speculation.
As it does with every relationship on Housewives. I think it just puts a magnifying glass on something that maybe he didn't see before and now is seeing. And I think that happens when you're like married and locked into something, but I don't know what it is. What I saw was he's not fully there. And it looks like there's a lack of respect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I honestly feel bad because I actually thought that they were like, from last season to this season, it's a big jump.
Yeah.
It's a very big jump. So I don't know. I don't know. That just like caught me by surprise, I guess.
Yeah, I think that he's in a different place. Before he was very involved with the show. Now he's doing his own thing, kind of taking advantage of the platform. And it's like, just don't worry your pretty little head over it. Go with you and your nonsense. And, and there was a lot of trying to prove that we don't have many problems. We're going to get an apartment that's $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month. There was a lot of that. And it was like, sold so fast because I made it so beautiful. That place was like a model apartment, which was already furnished and everything.
It was like staged.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all those things, like, I just wish Alexia could look at herself, like play this back and look at herself and see where she's just seems not authentic, seems a little narcissistic, seems a little out of touch.
Not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not. They're just not. It's not the way it works. The last thing is that scene with Gertie and her kids talking about her cancer had me in tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gertie is so strong. It's like a very strong person. If anybody were given this like horrible thing, it's I just can't believe that.
Yeah, I think that we see next, there's a little bit of a preview for next week, I think, or next week or the upcoming, the rest of the season, where she refuses to have surgery or is refusing to have surgery. And she's having a moment
of denial. I think it's denial.
But how much
part of grief.
Love Russell?
Oh, I love him so deeply.
I love him on levels that it's not right. Like, I love him. Like, I love him.
I love him too. He's such a good, that's
what
the
a
kind
good
of
egg.
partner.
He's a white hat. He's a good egg.
He's great. I love him.
I love him. Like knight in shining armor. Just, he doesn't even need the armor. It doesn't have to be shiny.
Yeah.
He's the real deal.
I love him. I love him. I love their family.
Yeah.
That's all I had for this. I feel like that's all we need to talk about anyways.
Listen, tune in next week when we are going to really, really
we'll see.
Have an opportunity to really discuss, because I really wasn't in this episode. I was talked about, but apparently I am a demon, and
you're a villain.
And I don't like myself. Somebody sent me a side-by-side photo of me and Marisol, and they put, let's be real, who here probably doesn't like themselves, or something like that. It was so funny. Well, they were focusing on
what?
On her appearance.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave everybody with this. I think that this is an important thing to end on. Perspective. Okay. At the end of the day, my mom and I talk for 1 hour a week about celebrity news, Bravo news, Bravo bullshit, whatever you want to call it. We close the laptop and then we move about our day. We close it. We don't think about it. I assure you, I'm not talking about this with anybody else because, well, actually different. These next 2 episodes, I'm going to be talking a lot about it because just a reminder, I was on TV. So, but the perspective is this is not our whole world. This is not like soul crushing. It's not like yes, you're being villainized and whatever. It's not a big deal. It's in the zeitgeist. It's going to go away in like 2 weeks. No one's even going to remember it by the end of this season.
But remember me, even as a
yeah, sure. Remember her. But I'm just saying, like, I think that they're so, like, the Marisol and Alexia thing of them just being so like worked up about your presence and whatever. That's just like not happening here. It's really not. And I think I need you all to know that it's really not happening here, because it's kind of funny and kind of fun. And we're all on this journey and ride together, like YOLO. Free advertisement. Thank you so much, Bravo, for the free advertisement. Yes. Actually, thank you, Marisol, for the free advertisement.
Thank you. And she refuses to talk. She goes, I don't know that person. It's like,
who is that? It's Alexia going, who's this? Who's Anna? Who's Anna?
And then she goes, notice that I went immediately to it, man. I'm telling you, I know shit. I'm whatever. I'm the smartest person in the room. I'm like, ay, Dios mío.
It's so crazy. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week, where we're going to give you a lot of dirt.
Follow us on Mommy Issues, the pod, on Instagram at Beba_Rod, at Anna Cooks QOOKS, and follow us on Apple Podcasts.
What are you wearing?
On YouTube. I'm wearing a shirt. What do you mean?
Oh, okay.
You know what this is? This was a maternity shirt that I got a million years ago, but it's like really soft and cozy.
It looks a lot like something I ordered, so that's why I thought that maybe.
Oh, for Leah's party. No, I do have. So my mom was invited. This is for everybody too. My mom was invited to Leah Black's freaking party when she was going to be here taking care of my daughter, and then she ordered a dress, and it got here, and now it's mine. So. Should I go? Should I go to the party?
You could go.
No, I don't want to go.
Definitely go. She would like it if you went.
No, I'm good. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.